Alrighty, let's get this going. I think YouTube is almost posted. Alright, I think that worked. There we go. Make sure I added today's comic to my story as well. Looks like it's posted. All right, we're good. All right, so I was hoping I would get more of this done before stream than I did, but that's okay. I have a full sketch out, and I've been kind of going over it. I want to fix some elements to it, and I have a sort of rough idea of these two frames, because I'm going to do a different layout than I'm used to on this one. Here, and then I want to do, this is just going to be rough. And I'm gonna do it like that, maybe. And what I have here now, the one thing I want to figure. Okay, we're gonna just do a cough drop today, clearly. Alright, what's our fortunes today? Do we have, oh, we have a couple of good ones. You got it in you, take charge and mean it, turn can-do, that's my favorite, turn can-do into can-did, dust off and get up. I'm gonna count this one, you've survived tougher. I'm only missing like 3 letters of that one, or cut it off. That's a good fortune. So, on this one, I'm not sure that I want to do... Did I accidentally hide my layers? Weird. I think this is how I want to do it. And hey Jack, welcome to the stream. Okay, on this one, oh yes I did, actually. Let me save this. So, all right, this was how it worked out. It actually did pretty perfectly. I did start lettering, but I wasn't happy with how it looked. And this is actually, I think, the last one that I tried. I had a couple of other versions that I was just like, eh. And I went back through and I couldn't really get it to look right. So I went ahead and went back with the original text, and then I just edited this a little bit to make it more legible, I feel, because there were some areas where like the I was getting squished in, and I didn't feel that it was quite reading right, especially when it's squished in close with the R and the S. So I moved it over a little bit towards the S to bring it out on its own, then have the O right above it, and I think it worked out pretty good. I was happy with it, at least. I don't know, if I did try to thicken that up a little bit, and I also brought the curve out here, but I feel that that's enough. But I'm still thinking about it. I have to do color. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna experiment, but the idea is gonna be like my strawberry festival tee. I'm gonna have the big poster on the back, and then a smaller, maybe just the Floof's Caroling, like this section right here on the front, or maybe the logo, Cozy Town Christmas Market, right here over the pocket, the heart, and then you'll have the full, really pretty graphic on the back. And I mean, when I was originally doing the strawberry tea, I wasn't sure about that layout, but I put it to a vote on Instagram, and it was pretty overwhelming for the splitting it up to have the graphic on the back, the full deal on the back, and then that small front pocket print. So I'm gonna try it again, and that's what they voted for, that they wanted. So I really like the poster idea for the town events, so I'm glad I got that finished and in a good position. So this one, EL's game, is a little bit of a development on EL's character. She is usually pretty crafty and plotting. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have subtle little things, like she's plotting here, like, ooh, I'm gonna get this and then charge the floof for it, or something like that. Just kind of, I'll have that little like plotting look on her face, but in the end she's just gonna give it to the floof for free, just to make the floof smile. And I think this layout is going to work. How I'm going to split it up for Instagram is like a kind of like I'm going to include these as like one frame. So I'm thinking of this as 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going to be one slide. This is going to be one slide, even though it's technically 2 frames. Again, and then here, and then final. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different slides. And I think I've only broken up a frame like this on 1 or 2 other comics, and I want to start doing that more and having better layouts, because I think those are a little bit, they're more dynamic, and I do worry that, oh, it's not going to be as readable, especially, but I think what I could do is come in here and maybe offset these like just slightly this way. And then I'll take, so it'll naturally on the full page, you'll read here and then you'll come here. At least I hope that's what it's going to be. So if I do that and then I reflect again, that'll reinforce. I think even if you're inclined to read down, you're going to go like this. I want to keep my eye always on the legibility of the frames and how they're reading. All right, so that's good. Put that in here. I can still fit these into these. Scribbles. Aw. Excited to see how it all comes out. Also love your work. I try to do some art but end up with scribbles and a bit of hopelessness. Hopefully with time I will learn to draw. Yeah, you just have to make the time, and you don't have to do a lot. Like on my daily drawings, what I did that really helped me out a lot, because I had attempted to start several times before actually succeeding. And what I found that I was doing was I was either setting the bar way too high or setting it way too low. So the way too low was an attempt I made where I was just like, I need to sit down and do a sketch in pencil. It doesn't need to be, you know, anything, just as long as I'm putting a pencil on paper. And so what that did was the bar was too low. And I I responded with kind of a natural procrastination. Oh, it's so easy. I'll just, do 2 drawings tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes along and I'll be like, oh gosh, I can just do 3 drawings the next day. And, before long, a week goes by and you've got 5 of these different sketches piled up, and then you're overwhelmed and you're like, I'm not going to do it. And so it fails. And I need my Kleenex here. Come here. And then on the other end, if you set the bar too high, saying, oh, I need to make a finished colored illustration and it has to be, I'm going to put in at least an hour on it, and that will overwhelm you in the scope of what you have to do every day. So I came to a happy medium of saying, as long as I sit down, and it was, I think, 15 to 30 minutes. I think 15 was the bare minimum. 30 minutes was my average goal. And the way I looked at it, I was like, look, the average show you watch on TV, well, I mean, not even, it's longer than now. Average show on TV is an hour long. So you've got, well, at least, if you're watching a series on Netflix or something. And, for one of those episodes, you can sit down and, take half of it and draw something. And it's just making that choice to opt for building your skills versus, I don't want to say building your laziness, but just opting to opt out, and you've got to make those decisions. And sometimes they're hard because you don't want to do it. You really don't want to do it. Tough days happen. And that's where the minimum comes in of, hey, all you have to do is draw for 15 minutes. Okay, I can do that. Even if it's the worst scribble you've ever done, you can say, hey, I kept the chain going. I kept it going. I did my 15 minutes. That's all I need to do. And now I can relax and watch that show. So it's really a game with yourself to find that happy medium that still is challenging, and that you'll make the space for it in your day as well as up here, versus too easy where you're inclined to just procrastinate and say, hey, I'll just do it tomorrow. But that's on doing like a daily drawing habit and just forming that practice. And again, you don't have to be that serious about it. You can, just choose to be, keep it as a hobby, and, you'll get better at your own pace, and that's okay. As long as you're just comparing yourself to yourself. Don't, go online and see, what superstars in the art world do and compare yourself to them, because they've literally been drawing their whole life. I mean, come on. Give yourself a break. I'm going to delete that. Let's edit this a little bit before I lock it in. Yeah, it just, and if it doesn't work out, find that time limit that does. I mean, you could, if you have a break in your day where you're, waiting on something, repeatedly, or during the week when you have just like a little bit of downtime that is reoccurring, just, make sure you have a sketchbook in your pocket, or make sure your iPad's with you, or, just get a piece of paper, printer paper, and a pencil, and, you know, sketch it out, and or get a small sketchbook, and make sure it's within reach at those times. And the easier you make it on yourself and prep, it's like, you know, what a lot of people suggest. I actually think I read this originally in Atomic Habits. It's the whole couch to 5K thing. It's a lot easier if you know, start these goals in increments. So your goal isn't to immediately get off the couch and run 5K. Your goal is the first week to set out your exercise clothes and your shoes. And because the worst part and the hardest part is putting the shoes on and getting started. And I think that is the same in, you know, doing a daily drawing habit if you're trying to grow your skills, especially if you're just starting out. It's the sitting down and getting to start that is the hardest part, because once you start, I mean, you know, time, at least for me, disappears. And it's the same with exercise. The worst part is getting up off the couch, getting your shoes on, getting your stuff on, and getting out the door. So the easier you make that on yourself, the, you know, easier it'll be to keep that promise to yourself of that new habit and that goal that you're seeking. Or rather, pursuing. Okay, that's a little bit better, but this guy's still a little bit thick, so we're going to give him a little help. There we go. But yeah, once I kind of gave myself that bit of grace, things were a lot easier. And I didn't I don't know, just to have that little bit of a goal to get that was aware of stuff happening, because stuff does happen. All right, I've got my frames there. I think so. I want perfect line art, the coloring, the lighting, etc., all at the same time. Guess I gotta do one at a time. Of course, yeah, no. And to give you an example of how I did that for myself was one of the first, I kind of went through my drawings up to that point, and I listed the things that I was not happy with. And, you know, like I wasn't happy that I was, you know, avoiding backgrounds. I was avoiding, you know, my composition was really not good. And so that was my list. And I just started attacking things one at a time. I think it ended up being about 100 days where I was focused on just composition. And so I would start out every drawing my rule of thirds. And those, I still have those Illustrator files, and I still have on that layer my grits, and I would hand draw them. And that resulted in me being able to eyeball everything. I still to this day, if I draw something, I upload it to Instagram and I, you know, post it from my phone. It brings up that grid and I'm spot on everywhere. So it just, that training to be able to visualize that grid mentally, but not having to draw it, that will help grow your skills and also your speed. But you've got to just sit down. It's boring, but you know, that's what the fundamentals largely are. But until you learn those fundamentals, you can't really break the rules in a convincible way. You know, you got to know the rules before you can break them. All right, let me ungroup this. All right. All right, we Gucci. There's also some really great books. I mean, especially on composition. Where is it? Molly Bang. Picture this. I have the first edition. And since then, I believe she's released a second edition. I know she's released a second edition, expanded edition. I've got the first edition. That one, it takes the classic construction paper exercise and lays it out in that book form. And it shows you in very simple shapes, starting off in very simple shapes, and then kind of gets a little bit more storytelling to the concepts, but how to think about composition. And that one book, it's a very easy read, very quick read, but it's been invaluable to me, and it really helped cement those concepts for me. And here's another bit of advice too. When you're looking for, and I'm kind of ravenous when it comes to book recommendations, but what I've found is that, you know, not every book that's worked for somebody else will work for me. And I'd hope you'd keep that in mind too if you're also a book learner. You can examine the books, and maybe some will be a hit, some will be a miss, but don't, you know, get discouraged. The hits are out there, and the hits will find you if you keep looking. And that one was a particular hit for me. And there were a couple. Actually, let me just grab a few of those. Don't you go anywhere? No. Oh, you're still asleep. I moved and Coconut made like she was going to leave me. Okay, so here's the first one. Molly Bang, picture this. And you can see this is a very simple shape and, what, 3-color? Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf. So and here's how it kind of proceeds, you know, from the first very simple shapes, illustrating the woods in the most basic sense, and then changing those shapes to create contrast and tension, and then adding color in at the end. So this is the first edition. This is much smaller than the new one, and there could be other ones. She could have done a third and a fourth. This one, gosh, when did I get this? Probably at least 10 years ago. Copyright 2000, but this printing I think I got this around 16 or 17 maybe. But yeah, Molly Bang, picture this. It's a really good one. Dream Worlds by Hans Bacher. This one also, and a lot of the things that I really enjoyed and helped me are animation leaning, because I love animation, and that has been something I'd want to pursue for quite a while. This one also has really great chapters on composition, a lot of different things, storytelling, and breaking down also, because this guy worked on a lot of Disney films. So this is a section from Beauty and the Beast showing some of those background, oh, big stretch, some of the background art there and developmental work. And so it's different sections, but this is very, very, it looks small, but these pages are thin. And there's a lot of information packed in this book. And there's another one called Visions. But if you're looking and can only get one, do this one. It covers a lot of really good basics. Now this one, I don't know if the hardback version is available. Last time I checked, the digital version was available for like $15. the physical book may be out of print, but this is the Noble approach, Maurice Noble and the Zen of Animation Design. Again, it says animation design, but there are fundamentals covered in this one quite thoroughly, and very interesting narration, and it's all from the lens of the Looney Tunes. Maurice Noble worked with Chuck Jones on some of the big classic Looney Tunes shorts, and you probably maybe recognize that from one of the Marvin Martian cartoons. And so again, composition, color, contrast, storytelling, all of that is present in here. And one of the things that really stuck was, it was a little story. The author, Todd Polson, I think, he was doing some sort of not a paint along, but they were painting, I think it was out in nature. And Maurice comes by and he looks at his painting and he tells him to not paint with spit. And that really just stuck in my head, in terms of, because I have that inclination to pick less saturated colors, to not lean into contrast, to not take those risks, because a risk is something that could possibly fail more than if you if you paint with spit. But if you don't, how would I describe it? If you don't take those risks in painting, you won't make anything that's really eye-catching, that will stand out to people and be something that's noticed. And so yeah, that I really love that one, just little story. It's like a paragraph, I think, in the middle of the book. And I always that sometimes pops into my head, am I painting with spit? Am I not taking a risk here? Because I think for whatever reason, this risk is not going to pan out. And am I taking a risk in, the colors I'm choosing, or the layout I'm doing? Is it not? And I see myself falling into that trap someday on the daily paintings. I won't do a camera angle that is anything remarkable. It'll just be straight on, whatever. But those days that I change the camera angle, that I take that risk, that I try that different composition, those are the ones that I remember, that stand out, that I'm really proud of. So, yeah. Okay, I'm going to keep this floof on a different, I'm going to group this differently than EL, because I want the attention to go to EL in the background here. You're welcome, Jack. right? Let's see, what's my... Ooh, no wonder things felt off. I'm about 14 point too high. It's like, gosh, this floof is drawing really chunky. My pen pressure is really... not really that off. Hey Sharon, welcome to the screen. It is an EL story today. I'm working on getting some of the other characters more screen time. And EL hasn't had a comic in quite a while. I really want to reach over there and scratch that big belly. She did a big stretch earlier. Whoops. It is so tickleable. He's asleep though. She kind of has her paw covering her face. I think there's gonna be like some barrels over here, just general background noise. So we're going to be at a fair. Little shop windows. Here in the background here, we'll do some little boxes. A little bit further in the background, like she's make her look huge, but these guys are a little bit more. Alright, and let's get the bottles here. Once I get one bottle, I can get all of the other bottles. So we're going to do our little ring toss. These rings need to be thinner. these longer. Yeah, I'll do one like here that's just following. I want to go back in here. I want to make this less like a donut and more like a ring. You can kind of see what this loop is doing. Now I won't catch my Coke can when I get up from my coaster. I got to just move that over just a little. Okay. Move this up just a bit. There we go. On in here. Alismat, hello. That looks cool. Is this for a book or a strip? Both, actually. I do webcomics weekly, and so this will go live tomorrow. And hey, Clint, good to see you too. And then well, right now it's yearly, I do a compilation it's 156 pages, and it has pretty much the comics from the previous October to the current October. So I have enough, well, I'll probably have to do a couple of extra special sections, but I have enough to make volume 7, and I just came out with volume 6. I usually release this in the summer of the following year. So I'm already working on the content for 8. Gosh. Oh, he's such a sad blue. Okay, this doesn't look quite right. Let's get this floof working a little bit better here. Like, oh no, how much money did I spend on those rings? This was me at one of those, the claw machines. I wanted to get, God, it was years ago, and it was at a rest stop, I think, coming back from San Diego, but there's one of those claw machines, and they had Pokemon in there, and there was a Licky Licky. And I really wanted to get that Licky Licky because he had the big flat tongue out. And oh man, I think I fed at least $15 into that machine, and I just could not get the damn plush. And I was so close because I kept on picking him up, but the claw would always drop him. I think maybe because the plush itself was too heavy. But yeah, that was a moment. I ended up getting him online. I found the exact vending machine plush that someone was selling outside of the vending machine. That's awesome. So you started on webcomics. That's very potent key to comics growth. I hope so. I mean, I've been growing steadily. Always would love to have more readers. Oh God. I kind of fell off the boat getting the webtoon page updated. I need to get back on that and get those uploaded. I had a goal of like getting 10 comics added a week. And once I sit down and start doing it, as with anything, you gotta sit down and start doing it. I'm gonna have her looking very, let's make her a little smaller. Actually, let's move this floof over a little bit. He's gonna be in the foreground moving, and she is swooping in to what you think maybe to steal the prize that the floof wanted. I started late on the Webtoons thing. I'm putting some strips on there, but I also have a series of comics that I'm doing, so I juggle both. Yeah, it really is a juggling act. Another thing that I wanted to, well, yet another platform, I was wanting to put them on Substack as well, because I've seen a couple of comics over there, and I know they poached I think they poached several creators from traditional publishing a couple years ago when they were kind of trying to break in and have a comic section actively on Substack. I haven't really heard much since then, but it always intrigues me because, you know, I read my Substack subscriptions while I'm eating breakfast. That's kind of like a morning routine for me. Instead of doom scrolling, I read, and usually it's, you know, either a Substack or something along that line. And I thought, well, you know, if I do that, maybe some people would want to kind of have comics in their day if they're really active on Substack and stuff like that. And that ear looks nah. All right, let's try this again. EL, your ear is going to cooperate with me this time. It's a little better. Get rid of this. I don't remember. This is super tiny. This is super tiny. Don't need to be so precious with this. Your tail. There we go. And I'm gonna leave the hee hee hee. I just want to get her back in the background here a little bit more than she is. Ah, I forgot her face. There we go. Alright, that'll be it for that one. It's very short and sweet on those. I know a few people that have gotten great success on Substack. It also helps when you have lots of content you can offer as part of the Substack membership. So yeah, definitely. And I wonder, I was kind of thinking that the sub part of it, I would do the comics for free since they're free anyway. On the website and on other social media, but I could offer like digital downloads, wallpapers, that type of thing as the, or maybe even, you know, behind the scenes stuff, maybe extra little bits of content that might be, you know, not interesting to everybody, but for those who are, they would, you know, benefit from seeing some of that. And maybe it's something that I could cut up short versions and have just like, I don't think of it as like a teaser trailer, but short versions maybe also for free on social media, but longer versions like the whole story, whole whatever it is behind the Substack gate. I kind of get irritated with everything being subscription based, but I mean, on the other hand, you know, you kind of have to charge sometimes because otherwise you can't. Free comics don't pay rent. Free comics don't buy groceries. And free comics don't really usually make room for more free comics. So it's all about finding that balance. Have you worked any more with Procreate Dreams and animation? I have not since that last one that I did. I believe the last one was Mo jumping across the meadow. Actually, I can show it to you. I'm eagerly awaiting the Procreate Dreams update. I saw the Procreate regular update. Ooh, I'm at 16%. Okay, well, we'll do this quick. Yeah. Yeah, this was the, I don't know if you can, you can't see it. Let's make her bigger. Come on. Oh. There we go. You can kind of see her there. That was the last one I did. And then, let me see. Yeah, this obviously hasn't had an update. This one was forward, make it bigger. Glare on it, you can actually see the animation going. But yeah, I was hoping they would release both of these updates together, but they have not yet. And they have direct saving out to GIF in the new, well, that's the rumor, is that's the saving directly to GIF in Procreate Dreams rather than having to export and go through other programs. Behind the scenes stuff is usually cool. Fans of books like seeing videos or streams of the art being done. Good perks along with PDFs. Yeah, very much so. I mean, I just, you know, I know a lot of people use e-readers and stuff, and that's the next thing on my list is to get the darn ebooks finished. Artists shouldn't feel bad about charging. Sure, give some free incentive. At the end of the day, you're good at what you do. Exactly. It has to be a business because otherwise you'd be out of business. So I think that struggle affects a lot of artists because they're like, oh, they're a little bit imposter syndrome, you know, always invariably sneaks in, and you gotta realize what's happening, you know, mentally, and then say, hey, stop that. Someone needs to see. Someone needs to read what you have to say. Somebody somewhere. I think I'll do this. I want to give her like a concentration, like she's really focused. I'll draw that in a minute. And her little cheeky poof is a little too poofy cheek. There. I have another idea for an EL comic, and this is also based off the real cat. So the cat that her nickname was EL, Evil Landlord. I called her Saucy Girl, Bucket, Sauce Bucket. You know, she had a long list of nicknames, but she was very much like this character, aloof, and she would always gravitate towards anything that would come in the door, mail, boxes. You know, she'd have to sit on them and own them, and we would joke that she charged the other cats rent, and so that's how Evil Landlord was born. But one of her peculiar habits was when you'd sit and turn on the TV, sit on the couch, and turn on a show or a movie, no matter where she was, you'd hear her meow, which was, it sounded like a ring ring. It was meow meow, like that. And she would trot over and join you on the couch. And she did not snuggle. She kept a respectful distance away, but she wanted to be near you as you watch TV. And so I thought it would be cute to have EL kind of always listening for people mentioning movie night, and then she just shows up with popcorn. She's so excited. Just to give a little extra, you know, to build that character out a little bit. Because he's not all bad. He's not really bad at all. She's just the EL. I'm gonna bring up her little eye bit because I want to get, whoops. I know what I want to do with this one. And I probably should do it with that one too. I'm going to make this 30%. Dee, hello! Welcome to the stream. I'm going to give this a motion blur. Just tossing it. It needs to be thinner, so let's do this again. Made it today, glad to be here. Yeah, she was a sweetie. Very different personality. I'll just keep the ring there and the motion. Yeah, actually, let's just do something. Yeah, let's just do keep the line there, but maybe make it a little more visible than it is. And I'm gonna grab my bottles. Did I group the bottle? Yes, I did. I grouped the bottles. All right. And now I need to actually group this thing. Group and slide it over. There we go. And let's make the point size a little bigger here because I was drawing teeny tiny, but not that big. And I need to save because goodness knows when the last time I saved was. Buc-ee's has a nutcracker, a 36-inch nutcracker that is a Buc-ee. They have some of the best product innovators, I swear. I think it's gone a little bit viral online, but if you're not familiar with Buc-ee's, it's a Texas-based gas station chain, which that's really doesn't do it justice because it's huge, and their whole thing that got them famous was their really clean bathrooms, and they also don't allow large semi-trucks. It's just they point directly at families and people traveling, and so when you walk into one of those places, it's huge, and they've got like brisket stations, barbecue stations. They've got, you know, a whole smoked meat counter. They've got a bakery. They've got a fudge like kiosk, and then they have all of these Buc-ee branded foods and also products like t-shirts and stuff. And they do a lot of holiday things too. But they have they usually come out with a couple of fun, interesting things. That's the first time I've seen the mascot as a nutcracker, but it's kind of funny. It works. Right. Oh, let's group that saucy girl. Her ears are back. She's listening to make sure the floof is still there. I need to make these eyes better. Oh, that looks, oh god, that's weird. Okay. I need to make you not look creepy, yo. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sweet girl. I want to have it kind of, yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to make her a bit bigger too. I have the expression in my head, but I can't get it out right. Alright, he all needs to be bigger, because I want you to see, maybe it's the ear that's bugging me, maybe that's what. Look at that evil smile. Oh no. She knows she's gonna make some profit. Alright, I gotta get these eyes right. Give her a little tooth. All right. All right, now we're moving this out. And we're saving. And we're done. All right, so now 30. Hey, wow, fully lined in an hour and a half? Well, okay, an hour and 40 minutes. I was talking a little bit, so that also... I can't wait to draw this floof with that goofy smile. And EL went through one of the, well, along with Pudge, she and Pudge went through probably the greatest character transformation in terms of drawing. Because when I first was drawing them, I was using keyboard and mouse, and I would do a circle, and I would really just draw them in one position. I'd do a circle shape, and then kind of like this base, almost like the base of a salt shaker or a chess piece. And then I'd draw in her legs, and then it would be a line, $sign, and then her face was really, really angular like that. And, but yeah, she and Pudge both had that general build, and then I went through and redesigned them to be much squishier. But I always wanted to keep EL with the points somewhere in her design, because that indicated to me that she was just a little bit sharp in her character as well. And I really kind of got that from, that was an interesting behind the scenes, I think it was a full featurette type deal, like 30 minutes or so, but it was on the movie Aladdin. and they were talking about the different character designs and the silhouettes, and they were comparing kind of with the most contrast, the genie to Jafar. And if you look at genie's shapes, they're all very curvaceous and soft, and you can tell just by the silhouette and the drawing of this character that they are not posing as a threat, whereas Jafar is very angular, very long, thin face, and his shoulder pads are pointed. There are angles to every bit of his character, and that kind of subtly indicates that, you know, this character is not to be trusted. He's dangerous. Kind of like similar to seeing, you know, really some of the high contrast colors in nature, like a bumblebee's colors. You know, the yellow and black, stay away, you know, kind of like that. And that always stuck with me, and so I wanted to make sure that, you know, she's generally made up of curves and softness, but she has some of those little points there. I kind of want to give her a tiny, like she's super excited to give this to the floof. I've done this in her kind of overall, like back when I did one where she is like looking out the window and she's closing all the drapes and she's getting ready to do something, and then you find out she's turning on the music and dancing. She doesn't want anybody to see that side of her, but she lets the jelly bunnies do it. She lets the jelly bunnies in. I feel like this is a little bit too far over. Let's bring her little face in a bit. Hang on just a second. Alrighty, sorry about that. Drawn EL in such a long time. Let's draw this big acorn plushie. It's just going to be like a huge... like a squishmallow acorn. Really? I don't want her to have the same look. She has that little... Tip this up like she's giving it to her. I need to bring this in more because I want to bring her body over a little bit more. Alrighty. Just getting some extra little things in here for just the staging. That's just a few more bits over here. I feel like this little whip, the kind of dip of her cheek is not quite right. I feel like her little cheeky bit should be over here. And now I think I messed up. I kind of like that little U smile though. I'll keep that smile just in case. That. Let's move this out. And there we've got that. I kind of like her little, I like that. I think I'll keep it. Go in here, I'm going to cut this and I'm going to move it over here just in case I want the other smile. I don't think I will, but all right, now let's bring these frames on the top. And of course, EL's game has to be green. All right, I think I'll end the stream there. I've got all of my line art done, and I'm gonna probably, shouldn't take me too long to color this. I really do have a lot of close-ups on the characters, and I'll be doing brighter backgrounds behind them. Maybe EL being sneaky will have the green backgrounds, and then you can see her give the plush prize to the floof. A prize that's almost as big as the floof. Line wasn't quite working for me. All right, there we go. Enjoy the whole session. Thank you. Oh, take care, Jack. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope those books help. They were really helpful for me, and you know, you can even count that as one of your drawing sessions. Is just sitting down 30 minutes with a book to learn. You know, it's just you gotta find the things that work for you. Move this up here. There we go. All right, save. I'm glad you liked it, Elismat. Thank you so much for stopping by. All right, I'm gonna switch over to my ending screen here. Oh wait, let's do one belly scratch. We're not getting any stretches out of her. She's asleep. She's like, leave me alone. I'm clickbait. That's all I need to be. All right. Thank you so much again for joining me, Sharon, Dee, Clint, Jack, Elismat, and my lurkers. Always enjoy your company and chat and your conversation. I will be back on Tuesday, and I'm going to be working on a long-term project. I want to get like an official, I don't want to call it it's not a brand Bible, but it's kind of like a story and world reference together. I want to have pages and backgrounds on kind of like what's in the back of each of the comic books. I have a short bio, but I want to expand on that for each of the characters, and kind of like a world building session that not session, but for lack of a better word, book that I can keep consistent with. Like right now, all of that information is in my head, like where the layout of Cozy Town. I need to draw a map of Cozy Town. I need to draw where Granny Bear's house is, where Momochi's house is, where the Floofs live. You know, all of these different areas that I've touched on in the comics, I need to bring together into that whole reference. So that's one part that I'll be doing. I'll also be doing the biographies of the characters, and I even thought that it would be, yeah, style guide. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, Sharon. Thank you. But yeah, so like, you know, the background for EL and the background for some of the other characters that don't show up as much. Again, all of it's in my head, and I need to put it out into a guide like that. And, you know, maybe someday it'll become a book, but in general, it'll help me keep consistent, you know, even down to the colors in Granny Bear's kitchen. I've mostly been consistent there, but, you know, her kitchen is largely yellow, but it's just, you know, I gotta make sure I keep that consistent. And so I'm going to be working on that and some other elements to kind of just put all that down and get it out of my head so I don't have to keep on holding on to it. Kind of like the sketches for the comics. Once I get the sketch out, that's great. So I can focus on each frame. I don't have to hold on to an idea I had, you know, 5 frames down the way. I can have it on the page in a rough sketch and free myself up to focus elsewhere. But yeah, thank you again so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday and a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time.